Hello again. Welcome back to Women of the Bible, the New Testament, and the 7 Marys. Yes, there are 8, but we're going to discuss 7 because we've already discussed Mary, Mother of God, or Jesus' mother. We've already discussed that in the lineage of Jesus. So we're going to discuss the other 7 Marys. I'm going to do it as a real brief overview, but I would say definitely go in and read in the Bible about the 7 Marys. A lot of people see their name and they think it's the same Mary or they're Mary Magdalene, but they're not. It's 7 different Marys. It's like my mother's name was Mary. And my middle name means Mary. They just gave me an Italian middle name, but it means Mary. So let's take a look. Let's see what's going on. Take a minute. Take a breath. Let's go. First up, Mary Magdalene. It's a name everybody knows. We all know who Mary Magdalene is, right? Now, bear in mind, at this time, women didn't prophesy. Well, they did, but legally they could not. And when Jesus was out of the grave, an angel and Jesus both appeared to her and said, "Go tell." Okay, I'll go tell. And technically, legally, she wouldn't, but she is the handmaiden of God. So she would give testimony that God appeared to her and said, "Let my disciples know." And this is in Matthew 27, verses 55 through 28, and through chapter 28, verse 10. And then you see her again in Luke 8, 1 through 3, Luke 24, 1 through 10, John 19, 25, John 20, 1 through 18, and a couple of other places, but those are the main places that we see her mentioned. Now, let's talk about the sister of Martha and Lazarus. Her name is Mary also. And she's criticized. You see her criticized as being lazy and wasteful and not doing what needs to be done and getting things done. And as you're reading through the scripture, at one point she's sitting at the foot of Jesus while Martha is running around the house cleaning and getting cooking and doing all this other stuff, and comes out and starts wanting to berate on Mary. And Jesus looks up and says, "She's right where she needs to be. This is where I need her to be. It's where she's expected to be." And she also anoints his feet. It means she washes his feet. So that's in Luke 10, verses 38 to 42, and John 12, 2 through 7. That's 2 Marys. Let's take a look at number 3. And this Mary is the mother of James and Joseph. And she's mentioned briefly in Matthew 27, 55 to 56, Mark 15, 40 through 41, Mark 16, verse 1, and Luke 24, 1 through 11. They don't really tell us a whole lot, but she's just mentioned as the mother of James and Joseph. Mary, number 4, is the wife of Clopas. She was one of the 4 women that was at the foot of the cross when Jesus died. She was one of the 4. Now remember, there were several Marys there. Almost every woman is named Mary. But there were 4 Marys. And one of the Marys that was there was Mary, the wife of Clopas. And she's mentioned in John 19:25. And it's very brief. I mean, these are very brief. Mary, wife of Clopas, was there. Okay. Who is she that I need to know her? Remember, there were a lot of people in the background trying to get things taken care of. Now, there is another Mary also in attendance of Jesus. And she's mentioned in Matthew 27, verse 61, and again in Matthew 28, 1. Now, this Mary, when we do research on her, she is basically a Mary in attendance of Jesus. She is here to remind us that sometimes we do not receive credit for the stuff that we do. She's one of those behind the scenes Marys that they kind of sort of mention her because she's in with the group, if that makes sense. She's there to attend to him and preparing the body and making sure the body is prepared properly. Okay, so we've gotten Mary Magdalene, Mary the sister of Martha and Lazarus, Mary the mother of Joseph and James, Mary the wife of Clopas, and Mary, just Mary. That's 5. Here comes number 6. She is the mother of John Mark. John and Mark. Now, she's mentioned in Acts 12, and that's verses 12 through 16. And she holds a prayer meeting, which is very illegal. And the prayer meeting is actually in honor of Peter, who's in prison, but it's for his release. Okay? And when he is released, he actually comes to her home and meets not only her, but the others who were diligent in prayer and making sure that he was prayed for and cared for and ready to go. And the last Mary, she's got a 1-sentence byline in Romans 16:6. And all it says is, and I quote, "Greet Mary, who bestowest much labor on us." This Mary is in Rome with the Pope. She's in Rome. She's in the church. She is now a representative for the people. No title, Nothing that tells us anything about her, only that she is bestowed much labor on us. Her prayers, her dedication to honoring the people that she came from. So, some things to think about here, because that was 7 Marys. 7 Marys. What is said about you really shouldn't matter, whether it's right or wrong, doesn't matter. We all hear that phrase, sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Well, sometimes they do. But what's actually said about me doesn't matter. Am I following God? When you come before God, is your conscience clear? Is your conscience clear? Are you free? Do you judge others based on your standpoint and not that of God's? Think about that one. Are you judging others? What did Mary do? What did Martha do? Think about how you're raising your children. Are they raised as my grandmother would say, you're being raised to fear God? Well, really, I'm not being raised to fear God. What I'm being raised to is to understand that my faith in God and sometimes my lack thereof has consequences. Whether it's good or bad, it has consequences. And when do you advocate for your children? And when do you let them grow up and fend for themselves? When you start digging in and looking at James and Joseph and their mother Mary, or you're looking at some of the other mothers that are listed in the Bible, think about how you would have reacted in that position. Am I protecting my children too much? Am I not letting them learn? Am I not doing what needs to be done to give them the strength and faith in God to carry on? Are you truly free to worship God and Jesus? Not thinking about what everybody else thinks. Think about some of these Marys. They worshiped God and held services when it was illegal for them to do so. Did they care what others thought? No. Did they know that there were consequences if they were caught? Yes. But they had faith in God. Our acts of appreciation should always go to God and Jesus. Neither of them demand that we pay gratitude for what they've done for us, but they deserve it. Both Jesus and God deserve it. So think about it. What have you done to show that you love Jesus and God? Many times we want to do something for God, but we also want the gratitude instead of giving it to God. You know, that pat on the back, when really it should all go 100% to God. Remember, everybody watches. The children, the adults, especially the people that have not come to God. They're watching. They're watching how you act. Are you acting as a God-fearing person? Do you walk the walk? The final Mary, the seventh Mary, is really a standout person. She moved to Rome to serve God. So my last question on the Marys for you. Are you working hard for God or hardly working? Are you working hard for God or hardly working? Next time, I'll bring to you 4 additional women. They're mentioned very briefly, kind of like a flyby mention. But take some time and really think about, are you walking the walk and talking the talk, or are you just talking the talk and shrugging off the work? Okay? Love, peace, joy. Until next time.